Now here, start with where did the workers come from? Page number 119 it is. Now write down the question. Why were the jobbers? Why were the jobbers employed? Why were the jobbers employed by Indian industrialists? Why were the jobbers all right? Why were the jobbers employed by Indian industrialists? Now, before coming to this question answer, write down one of the question. From where did the workers come from? From where did the workers come from? From where did the workers come from to work in the industrial regions? To work in the industrial regions. Now mark the answer. अभी जो क्वेश्चन लिखा है उसका आंसर मार्क करो. रुको, बैटरी लो हो रहा है, उसको थोड़ा अपग्रेड कर. Now mark the answer. In most industrial regions, workers came from the district around, like peasants and artisans who found no work in village went to industrial centers in search of work. Second market. The workers in Bombay cotton industries came from neighboring district of Ratnagiri. Change the point and write. The mill workers, the mill of Kanpur got most of their textile hands from the villages within the district of Kanpur. And third, most often mill workers moved between village and city, returning to their village home during harvest and festivals. And again, they come back to the industrial centers. Now, next question which I had given you, why were the jobbers employed by the Indian industrialist? Come to the next page, 120, and mark there. Industrialist, fourth line. See the fourth line. Industrialists usually employed a jobber. Jobber means what? Those who is already in job, and he is providing and helping job to the others who are unemployed. Either they are neighbors or either they are close relatives or friends. The first person who is helping those who are unemployed, the first person is known as the jobber, because he is already in job and he knows that which place is vacant, where the employment is needed. So he is defined as jobber. So mark here, industrialists usually employed a jobber to get new recruits. Recruits means appointments. Very often, the jobbers were an old and trusted workers. Second market, he got people from his village, ensured them jobs, helped them to settle in the cities, and provided them money in time of crisis. ये मन होगा तो लिखना, otherwise you can leave this also. Now next market. The jobber, therefore, became a person with some authority and power. Conclude the answer. He began demanding money and gifts from favor and controlling the life of the workers. Now here, Unit 5, the peculiarities of the industrial growth. Now, European managing agencies, you have read how many agencies was there. So, European managing agencies which dominated industrial production in India were interested in certain kinds of products. Now, what were the two kinds of products they were interested with? You have come across in the beginning only. Cotton and silk fibers, they were more interested. Now, before that, they were also interested in tea, coffee plantation, and wanted to acquire in a very cheap rate from the colonial government. So how they acquire in a cheap rate, I had explained you in the beginning yesterday that they went to have a trade with opium with China, smuggling opium to China, and from there they used to get tea, indigo, jute. These were the things plantation like, which was needed as a raw material for commercial industrialization. ट्रेड जिससे हो सके रॉ मटेरियल्स जूट था इंडिगो है टी कॉफी प्लांटेशन से रिलेटेड जितना भी cultivations they needed, they take the help from these. So most of these were produced required primarily for the export coffee and coffee sorry export trade and not for the sale in India. ये सबको इंडिया में उसको नहीं बेचना था. They wanted to take abroad, export it to other European countries where they also get a high profit. Now write the next question. Why did the industrialist in India, why did the industrialist in India began shifting, why did the industrialist in India began shifting from yarn to cloth production? Why did the industrialist in India, ये 5 marks question में mark करोगे. Why did industrialist in India began shifting from yarn to cloth production? Now, first market. When Indian businessmen began setting up industries in the late 19th century, avoided competing with Manchester goods in the Indian market. Write it as an introduction. First point, market. Since yarn was not an important part of the British import into India, the early cotton mills in India produced coarse cotton yarn. Coarse means rough cotton. In the early, next marker. The early cotton mills in India produced coarse cotton yarn rather than fiber. ये तो हम अभी मार्क कराए वही है, rather than fiber तक स्टॉप हो जा. Second next marker. The yarn produced in Indian spinning mills was used by handlooms, weavers in India or exported to China. Exported to China. Third market. In the next paragraph, come to for the third point. As the Swadeshi movement gathered momentum, means became fast. Swadeshi means to use of own countries. Nationalists mobilized people to boycott foreign clothes. Change again. The industrial groups organized themselves to protect their collective interests. From 1906, moreover, word ko kato, the export of Indian yarn to China declined since produce from Chinese and Japanese mill flooded the Chinese market. Come to the last point. The industrialists in India began shifting from yarn to cloth production. Why? Because the Chinese thread was flooded in the Indian market. Cotton piece goods production in India doubled between 1900 to 1912. Means India का market में yarn means पहले thread बनाता था, अब वो क्लोथ बना रहा है और उससे उसका प्राइस प्रॉफिट डबल होना शुरू हो गया. लास्ट पैराग्राफ देखो. Why was the industrial growth slow till the First World War? Why the industrial growth was slow till the First World War? Now, till the First World War, the industrial growth was very slow because first you will write with the British mills, busy with war production to meet the needs of the army, है ना. सारा इंडस्ट्री ब्रिटेन का किसका सामान बना रहा था? वॉर गुड्स. जूट बैग्स था, लेदर बूट्स, आर्म्स, weapons. They are all engaged in making these things. The India market was left. It was vacant now. Who will come and sell? Now the Indian merchants started using the Indian market because now the Britishers were engaging in production of the goods needed in the war. Second market, Manchester imports into India declined. Third, Indian mills had a vast home market to supply. As the war prolonged, means और लंबा चला गया war, the Indian factories were called upon to supply war needs like jute bags, cloth for army, uniforms, tents, leather boots, horse and mule saddles, है ना, horse घोड़े का नाल वो, and host other items. Till here you will write and conclude. Many new workers were, next page में उसको conclusion में लिखो. Many new workers were employed and everyone was made to work for longer hours. And over the war years, means when the war came to an end, industrial production boomed. उसके बाद industries में food grains और बाकी और textile mills का production boomed means increased. You got the answer? Now come to the page number 122 and write on top, inverted comma open, technological changes, inverted comma open and close, उसके बीच में लिखो, technological changes occurred slowly in Britain. Technological changes occurred slowly in Britain. Give three reasons. Give three reasons I am giving you in the question, but I am giving you in your book 6 reasons. Write any 3, learn any 3. Write all the 6 in your notes copy, but learn any 3. If you are giving unit test, that is the Sunday test, but if you are giving test for the board, then you have to learn the whole. But I think this chapter is deleted, so you learn only 3 points. Technological changes occurred slowly in Britain. Give 3 reasons. Page number फिर 121 में आओ. Come to page number 121. First point, write it. First point. With British mills, last paragraph का third line में. With British mills busy with war production to meet the needs of the army. Second, first point पूरा लिख दो. Class 10th, first point you will write from here. Till the First World War, industrial growth was slow. The war created a new situation with British mills busy with war production to meet the needs of the army. Second point you will write, Manchester imports into India declined. Indian mills had a vast home market to supply. Third market, supply. As the war prolonged, marked is as a third point, Indian factories were called upon to supply war needs like jute bags, clothes, army, uniforms, tent and leather boots. Till here you mark. Next, You will write from the page 122. Write the next point. Next paragraph देखो. Unable to modernize and compete with US, Germany, and Japan, the economy of Britain crumbled. Crumbled means girna. Crumbled after the war. Last point, mark it. Fifth point. Cotton production collapsed and export of cotton cloth from British fell dramatically. And last, as a conclusion and as a sixth point also you will write, within the colonies, the local industrialists gradually consolidated their position, substituting foreign manufacture and capturing the home market. Now see class 10, all the question and all the answer I am giving you. So no need to go for other books. Write these question only, the question which I have given you, and write the same answer in your notes box. Learn the same answer. All right. Now, next paragraph of 5.1. Small scale industries predominate. How did the small scale industries predominated in India? How did the small scale industries predominated in India? First, write it. While factories industry grew steadily after the war, large industries formed only a small segment of the economy. Small segment means a small section of the economy was of heavy industries. Second, most of them was about 67% in 1911 and were located, if you don't learn the date, don't mention in your answer, were located in Bengal and Bombay. Third market, over the rest of the country, small scale production continued to predominate. Change the paragraph. In some instances it is written, in some example, handicraft production actually expanded in the 20th century. Next, change it. While cheap machine made thread swiped out the spinning industry in 19th century, the weaver survived despite problem. And last market, in 20th century, handloom cloth production expanded steadily, almost trebling. Trebling मतलब double, दोबारा जैसे होता है ना डबल, ट्रिबल मतलब 3 गुना जिसको कहा गया उतना उनको फायदा होने लगा. Now, how did this happen? Here, write a short question that how did the fly shuttle help in improving handloom production? Fly shuttle नया innovations था textile mills में. How did fly shuttles, SHUTTLE, fly shuttle, help in improving handloom production? Mark here. Handicraft people adopted new technology. By the second decade of 20th century, we find, cut that word, weavers using looms with fly shuttle. This increased production per workers, speeded up production and reduced the labor demand. Till here, market. Come to the next page, 123. On top, how could certain groups of, write it, how could a certain groups of weavers, how could a certain group of weavers survive the competition with mill industries? How could a certain groups of weavers survive the competition with mill industries. Now mark here. First point market. Among the weavers, second line में देखो आंसर दिया हुआ है. Among weavers, some produced coarse cloth, while other wove finer varieties. Coarse means कोई rough कपड़ा बनाता था, कोई highly qualified, high quantity और good quality का कपड़ा बनाता. Second market, the coarser cloth was bought by the poor and its demand fluctuated violently. Third, in time of bad harvest and famines, when the rural poor had little to eat and their cash income disappeared, they could not possibly buy clothes. Change the point. The rich could buy these even when the poor starved. Change the point. Famine did not affect the sale of Banarsi or Baluchari saris. Conclude the answer. Weavers and other craftspeople who continued to expand production through the 20th century did not necessarily prosper. They lived hard life, worked long hours. देखो ये सब short points हैं. Hard lives, long hours. Very often, the entire household, including women and children, had to work at various stages of production process. Till here, you will mark. Now come to the conclusion of the chapter. Write the last question. How did the British marketed their goods in India? How did the British marketed their goods in India? You will write, they marketed their goods in India through advertisements. Variety of advertisements was there. So I will give you only the answer. Like first point market, जहाँ से लिखा हुआ है, one way in which the new consumer, वहाँ पे Roman number 1 में main point लिखो advertisements. Roman number 1, write the main point advertisements. Now underline what you will write. Advertisements, second line में answer है, advertisements make products appear desirable and necessary. Change the point. They try to shape the minds of people and created new needs. In the same paragraph, last line market. Advertisements have played a part in expanding the markets for producers and in shaping a new consumer culture. Second paragraph में mark करो, Roman number 2 में लिखो, putting labels on the cloth bundles. Putting labels on the cloth bundles. Mark again. The label, second line mark it. The label was needed to make the place of manufacture and the name of company familiar to the buyers. Second, write it. When buyers saw "Made in Manchester" written in bold on the label, they were expected to feel confident about having the cloth. Buying the cloth means good quality of cloth. Third point market. But label did not only carry words and text. They also carried images and very often beautifully illustrated. Images means pictures, beautifully drawn colored picture. Third paragraph market, Roman number 3 write, images of Indian gods and goddesses. Images of Indian gods and goddesses. Now mark the first point. It was as if The association with gods gave a divine approval to the goods being sold. Divine मतलब ऊपर से आशीर्वाद है ना. Divine means truth, pure. The imprinted image of Krishna or Saraswati was also intended to make the manufacture from foreign land appear somewhat familiar